Hi, good morning and welcome to my live again. I do try to do it daily, so if you want to follow, it's usually in the morning. And sometimes I do evening, but really it's really rare because this is when I paint. And unfortunately, I think that unfortunately, no, it's not unfortunate, but I don't think that most of my followers are at that time zone. So I'm just gonna try to post it when I'm done. Well, I do post the final result all the time, but not the video. So I'm gonna try to post the video as well. Just so more people would have the opportunity to see that. Okay, so what do I need to say about this? It's Stitch as a mermaid, basically the Little Mermaid. I'm going again back and forth with elements every time you do mashup. It's how much of each character do you want, and you still gonna make it recognizable for both, so you would understand what is I'm doing and what is the character that I've been inspired. It's difficult. I'm trying to focus focus on the picture and try to read comment and try to interact, and it's difficult, and talk. So I choose to do the same kind of the fishtail as the Little Mermaid. I'm going back and forth about adding like the bra that she has. I'm not sure. Every time I do something like this, I'm thinking like, would it help the piece? Would it levitate it to better height, or it's just going to be another thing? So for now, I'm going to leave it without. I did use really just light wash over here in order to be able to come back. So every time you work with watercolor, which the problem is that it's really not forgiving, you need to do a lot of planning ahead. So if it was acrylic, no problem, I would just paint all over this. But since it's watercolor, I need to make sure that the layer over here is not too thick, not too opaque, not anything, so I could do, if I want to put more of the Little Mermaid into Stitch. So when I do Stitch crossover, this is the way that I think about it. I want it to be really recognizable as Stitch, and it's really easy to lose the character that you want to emphasize. So this is why I build the character on Stitch body instead of doing like Little Mermaid and adding Stitch face. And if you do that, also the proportion would be really bad. So I'm sure you heard it before. There is no one way to do that. So I do that way. I work that way. This is my process. But if you're doing it the other way around, it's also good, right? It's perfect that art is not confined to one method, to wrong or right, or I don't know. And as many teacher for art or inspiration for art you would have is actually the amount of details method that you would have. So to each his own. So I love putting the scene in the water, that probably in the ocean or something. And again, if you follow me, I'm going back and forth also with how do I want to approach the composition of each painting. And usually I do some kind of vignette you know, that you have just the character, maybe some kind of shadows or something like that, that would indicate that we have an environment, that it's not floating. So mostly this is what I do. Before that, I used to do like full thin. Let me just show you how I worked before that. So this is just, I hope you can see it. This is just example of, no, it's too big. But okay, maybe we'll go with this. I'm trying to fit it in the frame and I can't move it. Oh, I love Lilo and Stitch as well. Okay, so this is how I used to do before. And it will give you another, because someone said that they like Lilo and Stitch, so this is Stitch and Angel. So you see that I actually painted the entire background. And this is how I used to work before. But now I feel that it's taking over what I want to show, which is the character. So this is why I started doing vignette. But now I feel that I need more, that I need something else. So I'm doing like half of a scene, you know, like from here down, I wouldn't do this sky and stuff like this, because it's just, for me, feel that it takes away from the character. And I want you to see the character. This is not about the scene. So I assume you can see Stitch over here. The other thing that I'm doing, I'm just going to show you, I'm working on a few art in Parlor. So this is the other thing that I'm working. Yes. Thank you, Jenna. Yes, thank you. Stitch, I don't know, Stitch and Eeyore are my spirit animals. I really like them. So the reason that I'm working right now with a few art at a time is because I'm doing a lot of wet into wet, like in that area and even in this area. And I need it to dry. And I'm a really incredibly impatient person. Like, when you see my art, you probably say, oh no, you're not impatient, you're drawing for hours. But I want to keep doing stuff. So I can't wait for the paper to get dry. So this is why I work on few pieces parallel, because while I'm waiting for this to dry, I can go back to my Sebastian that I just showed you. So that's helped me, because I usually just destroy the art if I go too soon for adding details when it's completely wet. So that was a big no-no, and I'm trying not to do that anymore. And it's also nice because when you work with like parallel, and you work on one piece and then the other and then back, and then you actually accomplish much more art. I don't know, because when I focus completely at one piece and I keep adding more and more stuff to this, it's taken me a few days. But the thing is that if I'm doing parallel, somehow it's also take me a few days. So basically, the same time that I'm doing one piece, if I work back and forth with few projects, for me, that works better. And I'm sure you each have their own method and how to do things and how to approach things. But for me, this is the way that it works. For example, I have friends that they need to be completely in the moment, completely finishing one item before they go to the other. So what is yours? What do you prefer? Do you complete the task completely, or you also have few projects at a time? And basically, it's meant that I do have work, right? So nothing is done instead of at least one is being done. But for the long run, for me, this is the way to work. So right now I'm adding details and shadows. I already work on the wet on wet, already established the environment, and this is just details. So how do you do details in a character, a fictional character, and watercolor? Like, I can just contour it because it would look again like the movie or comics or something, and then you wouldn't get any benefit of looking at this, of buying this, because this would look like a scene from the movie. So what I'm doing right now is just looking for the shadows, and the shadow, especially the cast shadow, is the perfect option to create definition, because the shadow would contour everything. If I have a strong light coming from somewhere, I would have highlighted, and I would have the shadow, and the shadow usually goes around the contour. So this is what I'm trying to find, okay? If it was here, we're going to have small, even the sun coming from here, we would have small shadows, and that's why I can kind of define the tail. The same thing over here, sun coming from there, I'm gonna have shadows. Great, I have contours. Over here, sun coming from here, the hand would cast shadow on the body, and where the area is the most dark, this is where you're gonna have some kind of contour. And I can't stress it enough. The number of people that you watch, this is the number of method and approach you would say, because we all have our own way. The older you are, the more fixed in your way you are. And I still try to get inspired by other artists and maybe use what they're doing or the method they're doing. And the reason I say that is because thank you everyone for the like, really appreciate that. You see, I'm just speaking at the video. It's difficult for me to look at that. So I forgot completely what I was talking about. Was distracted by your like. Okay, so let's talk art a little bit more. I keep saying, when you work on any piece, may it be for Comic-Con or for museum show, it doesn't matter. You have to use the same element that you apply, and I say that every live, because you have to use whatever you learn in your life or painting 101, which that means you need to think about composition, you need to think about color theory, you need to think about dark value, light value, all of this stuff, and most of foremost, light source, because it needs to be consistent. Otherwise, you wouldn't believe me. I don't do photorealism, but I do want you to believe me that I saw the character. So I'm trying to really apply everything, especially the light source, that would help. I'm trying to think what it would help you understand that I actually saw the character. I've been there. It doesn't matter that other than meet Stitch at Disney, I haven't seen any real life Stitch, obviously, but yeah, the elements need to be the same as fine art. And you can see, like, this is how I draw these parts. It's more of my experience of doing just regular art. And then you go to Stitch and let him be Stitch, but still applying some elements. So as always, the final result I would post for sure. The video I post if I remember, because I need to download it. But I hope you got some good information. I was trying to look and see if you have questions, but most of the time I couldn't. I do the live by myself, so I don't have any monitor or someone that would tell me, oh, this person just comment, please answer them. So I open my PM box, like my box inbox, so you can ask questions and request or whatever. So if you had a question and you were in the live and you didn't get to ask it or I didn't see it, feel free to PM me. That would be really, really fun. So thank you very much for joining. I'm trying to make it like this. I really appreciate every one of you. I really appreciate every like that I'm getting from you. And yeah, let's keep talking art. Let's keep having art. This is great for this platform and every social media. So by you watching, by you liking, you just support this. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.